Ex-lover revealed as homeless, a billionaire's life-changing, touching act of incredible kindness. Ryan Marcel, the self-made billionaire with success spilling off the edges of his tailored suits, finds himself at a high-profile charity gala. The glitz and glamour surround him, but he feels like a ghost in the crowd, invisible and hollow. Sure, his name glows like neon lights among the elite, but his heart ached with an emptiness that a bank account could never fill. As he laughed politely at superficial comments about their lavish lifestyles, he realized his friends were treating philanthropy like a new fashion statement rather than a lifeline for those in need. While their laughter echoed around him, Ryan couldn't shake the shame creeping in. All those years of hard work squeezing every ounce of effort into his dreams had led him here, yet the very core values instilled by his single mother felt buried beneath piles of silk and jewels. He sighed, wishing he could feel even a little of the fire that once drove him. The night dragged on, but just as he was about to retreat, he stumbled into an alley, seeking refuge from the charade. In a heartbeat, everything changed. There was Ashley, his first love, pulling at the deepest strings of his soul. With ragged clothes and eyes clouded by hardship, she looked nothing like the vibrant girl he remembered. The memories flooded back, the endless nights dancing in their small-town living room, dreaming of a shared future. The bright smile she once wore had been replaced by a shadow of despair, as if life had cast her aside like an old rag. "Ryan?" Her voice cracked, disbelief swimming in her gaze. His heart raced, torn between hope and heartbreak. "Ashley, is that really you?" He closed the distance, hovering between embracing her and respecting the gulf life had created. In an instant, their years apart faded away, and all Ryan could think was to extend a hand, to offer her a way out of her struggle, but he hesitated, a storm brewing inside him. What would his friends say? The bubble of privilege surrounding him would burst, spilling judgment and whispers of betrayal. Yet, staring into Ashley's eyes, he could see the girl who once dreamed of dancing till dawn, now lost among the discarded dreams of a city that had failed her. He made his decision. "You can stay with me, Ashley. We can make this right, together." The backlash came as swift as lightning. Whispers rippled through his elite social circles like wildfire, branding him a soft-hearted fool. The harsh words cut deep, sending doubts crashing against his resolve. How could they not see the beauty in lifting someone up? Despite their taunts, a spark ignited within him, a fierce determination born from memories of resilience. As he readied for a community event meant to raise awareness about homelessness, he felt a mix of hope and anxiety. Would he manage to shift perspectives, even among those shrouded in privilege? The night was electric. Standing before a diverse crowd, his palms slick with sweat, Ryan prepared to share Ashley's story. Would they listen? As murmurs filled the air, drowning his shaky voice, he stood grasping for words in a moment that could either dismantle or redefine everything he knew. What if he lost everything for trying to do what was right? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. As Ryan shifted nervously, searching through the churning crowd for familiar faces, he caught a glimpse of Ashley in the audience, her eyes shimmering with a mixture of pride and apprehension. In that instant, he understood the gravity of his mission. This was not just about a woman lost, it was about a community's heartbeat, echoing in the desperate cries for understanding. Would Ryan's impassioned stand ignite compassion, or would it be silenced in the face of privilege? The tension hung thick in the air, all eyes on him, brimming with uncertainty and anticipation. Seconds ticked by like hours as he took a deep breath, preparing to break the silence that stood between justice and apathy. Ryan's heart thudded in his chest, each beat like a countdown urging him to speak. He cleared his throat, the weight of the moment settling on his shoulders. He could feel the skepticism radiating from his peers, the whispers crawling up his spine. What if they laughed? What if they turned their backs? He glanced at Ashley once more, her steady gaze filled him with a quiet courage. This was bigger than them. "Good evening, everyone," he finally managed, his voice trembling slightly. "Thank you for being here tonight. I know many of you are here because of our shared desire to help those in need, but I'm here to share a story that's very personal to me." The crowd shifted, interest peaked. Ryan's fingers clutched the lectern, grounding him. "I want to talk about homelessness. A subject that is often hidden behind the walls of our luxurious lives. Many of you might think it's a distant issue, something that doesn't touch your everyday reality." He paused, collecting his thoughts. "But sometimes, it's right in front of us just like it was for me." A murmur of confusion rippled through the audience. Ryan's heart raced as he dove deeper. "I met someone tonight that changed my perspective. This is Ashley." He pointed toward her, and for a moment, their eyes locked, drowning out the world around them. He saw a flicker of hope in her expression. He continued. "Ashley was my first love. We grew up together, dreaming of big futures away from our small town. But life can be cruel. It can twist and turn the path you thought you were on and leave you stranded." Ryan's voice cracked, and he swallowed hard. She's found herself alone, struggling, homeless in a city that turned its back on her. I think we all know that homeless people are more than just statistics. They are human beings. They have stories. They have dreams. And they deserve our compassion. The whispers around him grew louder, a mix of disbelief and irritation. He could feel the eye rolls rippling among the affluent, their disdain hardening like ice. What if, instead of looking away, we chose to look closer? What if we could change the narrative? With every word, Ryan felt a weight lift as he revealed Ashley's story, the essence of a life lived and endured. He described the nights she spent sleepless on the streets and the dreams she had tucked away until they nearly vanished. He spoke of missed opportunities, and fragile moments that had led her here. Her pain was palpable, and with every detail he unveiled, he felt a shifting in the crowd. Some softened, others remained guarded. Ashley embodies not just a story of loss, but also the resilience that we all possess. It's a reminder that anyone, regardless of their background, can find themselves in desperate situations. He looked directly at the faces of his friends, those who wore privilege like armor. "I stand here, risking it all for someone who deserves a second chance. I invite you to join me in this journey. Can we not lift one another up, rather than tear down those who have fallen?" A heavy silence settled in, pregnant with thought. Just as he felt hope glimmering in the air, a loud voice broke through the stillness. "Are you seriously putting your reputation on the line for a homeless girl?" Gasps followed the question. A wave of shock crashed over the audience. Ryan's stomach dropped. The fire of doubt flickered back. He felt a surge of anger but fought it down. Instead, he took a deep breath and replied, "If standing up for what's right costs me everything, then I'd rather lose it all than turn my back on someone in need." Determined whispers filled the room, mingling doubt with curiosity and maybe, just maybe, empathy. Ryan's eyes darted to Ashley again, searching for reassurance. Her smile, though small, radiated strength. As he braced himself for whatever would come next, he wondered if this moment could be the spark for change, or if they would remain encased in their bubbles of privilege. Would they take the leap and join him? His voice resolute, Ryan prepared himself for the unknown, uncharted territory lying just ahead. He had invited a revolution, but would anyone answer the call? The moment hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. As the echoes of the question faded, Ryan felt the eyes of the audience shift, assessing, judging. He held his breath, his pulse racing. Would someone dare to speak again? But for now, the crowd settled into a contemplative silence. Then, out of the shadows, a voice emerged. It was Nicole, one of the more outspoken members of the group, her hands clasped in front of her. "Ryan, don't you see? This girl is just a statistic. Or a charity case, at best. You're risking too much for someone who doesn't fit in our world." Emotion surged through Ryan. Anger mixed with a desperate need to make them understand. "You think this is just about Ashley? It's about all of us. It's about the choices we make, the people we ignore, and the lives we don't bother to change. We live in a bubble, and it's time we pop it." He scanned the audience, the conflicted expressions ranging from annoyance to intrigue. Somewhere in the back, he noticed Ben, a guy who had once been Ryan's closest friend, crossing his arms. Their eyes met, and Ryan saw the slightest flicker of understanding. Perhaps Ben had changed, too, over the years. "Do you all remember the last time you thought about someone other than yourselves?" Ryan pressed on, his voice steadying. "Every single one of us has felt lost at some point. Deny it or not, but it's true." He could see Nicole's expression shift, the facade of indifference cracking, revealing something raw beneath. "Ryan," she began, her voice softer now, "it's not that simple." Ryan nodded, steeling himself, knowing the truth needed to surface. "No, it's not, but ignoring it isn't the answer. Ashley deserves a chance like we all do. How many people on the streets are artists, teachers, innovators down on their luck? Do they not deserve positions at the table we so easily occupy?" A ripple of murmurs chased Ryan's words as people began to speak among themselves, debating. Some faces softened, while others still looked away, scandalized by the idea of reconciliation. Ashley stood, her arms wrapped around herself, her eyes shimmering with unspoken fears. Ryan turned back to her, catching that glimmer of hope in her gaze once more. "This is where change begins," he told her, feeling a surge of determination. "Not just for you, but for all of us." Ryan shifted his focus back to the crowd, catching sight of some nodding slowly, hearts perhaps beginning to thaw. "What if we started by providing resources, building shelters, mentoring, or simply listening? What would it feel like to heal together?" Silence enveloped them again, almost protective. It was a fragile and potent moment. There was a growing sense of possibility, flickering like a candle in the dark, but then came the voice that would shatter their delicate peace. "This is all nonsense," a woman scoffed, a sneer betraying the facade of composure. "Why should we waste our time and money on a lost cause? This isn't about compassion, it's just a charity show." Ryan's heart sank, the words cutting deeper than he expected. But he held fast, a fire rising inside him. Compassion is the point. If it takes discomfort to bring change, then let us embrace that burden. We can't sit pretty anymore while those around us are suffering. Your wealth won't shield you from being human. The tension thickened, and the doubt bounced around the room like a live wire, waiting for someone to act on it. It felt like a crossroads, one path leading back to indifference, the other to solidarity. Would anyone take the risk with him? He cast a glance back at Ashley. Her strength was his anchor. The world around them was shifting, and he needed to guide his peers into that new sunlight. "Are we really going to let fear dictate our choices?" Ryan asked, looking at faces that were a mix of doubt, anger, and burgeoning compassion. "Because if we truly want to change, we have to be willing to walk this path even if it's uncomfortable." As he waited for a response, a heavy stillness filled the air. There was a flicker of change, a whisper of justice waiting to unfold. Would they take the leap with him, or would it all unravel before his eyes? In that moment, he felt the weight of the world pressing down on their shoulders, and realized how quickly everything could shift. And for the first time in a long time, he believed, maybe just maybe, that this was the spark they needed. What he didn't expect was the figure who stepped forward next. The crowd parted as a figure stepped forward, revealing long, disheveled hair, and a dark hoodie that obscured most of her features. A collective gasp swept through the room, and a silence thicker than before blanketed them all. Ryan squinted, recognition dawning on him like a slow sunrise breaking through the clouds. Ash. He breathed her name, barely above a whisper. His heart raced, not from fear or guilt, but from sheer disbelief. The woman before him, who had once shared laughter and dreams with him in a sunlit coffee shop, now stood in front of him lost, vulnerable, yet unmistakably familiar. "Ryan," she said, her voice trembling, yet strong, as if she had steeled herself for this moment. Her eyes, once bright with ambition, now told stories of hardship. "It's been a long time." In that instant, the air shifted. The murmurs escalated into a flurry of voices. In disbelief, Nicole stepped back as if she had been bitten by a snake. "What is this?" she spat, her disdain barely hidden. "You're telling me this is the person you want to fight for?" Ryan's heart sank at the tone of her words, but he refused to let them break his focus. He moved toward Ashley, the world around them fading into the background. This is Ashley. My Ashley. I didn't know you were here. I thought. His voice cracked, but he pushed forward. I thought you were safe. Ashley looked down, the weight of memories pressing on her shoulders. I wish I had been. The audience was silent, tension vibrating through the air. Ryan felt the gravity of their stares. Would they see Ashley as a person, or as a lost cause? She's not just some statistic, he found himself saying, trying to catch their gaze. She's someone I cared about. She's human, just like all of us. His voice was rising, fueled by urgency. Every dollar spent on a shelter, every moment we choose to listen, it's not just a handout. It's a connection, a chance for all of us to understand what it means to be truly alive. Ashley glanced up, her eyes glittering with unspoken hope. I never wanted to be a burden. I just needed someone to care. Nicole's expression flickered, caught between her biases and the reality standing in front of her. But what can she offer? How can someone like her repay our kindness? Sometimes kindness doesn't require payment, Ryan shot back, passion igniting in his chest. It just needs to be given freely. Think about it, how many of us have faced moments where all we needed was someone to step in? What if we could change that narrative together? One by one, the eyes around him began to soften. The hardened faces that had turned away slowly began to seek connection. They whispered among themselves, the previous certainty giving way to contemplation. Curiosity hung in the air, along with the scent of potential change. Ben stepped forward, breaking through the swell of voices. Ryan's right. I remember, and it's terrifying how quickly life can knock you down. We've all known someone who has struggled. Ryan's heart pounded, an ally emerging from the shadows. Hope danced through the collective room, igniting sparks that had lain dormant for too long. I don't know how to fix everything, Ben continued, glancing sideways at Ryan, but maybe the first step is admitting we don't have the answers. And maybe, just maybe, listening to Ashley is one of those steps. The message landed like a breath of fresh air, rippling through the crowd. Ryan caught a glimpse of Nicole, her expression wavering. Those icy walls she had wrapped around herself were cracking. Do you have any idea how hard it was to see you out there? Ashley's voice reverberated in their ears, breaking the silence with raw honesty. I was scared, alone, and I still am. Ryan stepped closer, his heart aching. And we're here for you now, Ash. Together. The crowd shifted, a sea of faces turning toward Ashley, no longer victims of disdain, but witnesses to a shared realization. Yet just as hope began to flourish, a new voice piped up from the side, a voice with an edge, a tone laden with judgment. You really think this will end well? What's to stop her from slipping back into whatever pit she crawled from? The doubt hung heavily, like clouds before a storm. And suddenly, there was a new tension sparking again, a darker strain of fear creeping back into the light. As Ryan swallowed the lump in his throat, he realized that the real challenge was just beginning. Would they have the courage to stand united? Would they make room for Ashley, not only in their discussions but in their hearts? Turning back to Ashley, he whispered, I won't let them tear you down again. But as more voices chimed in, Ryan felt a weight settle on him, pushing him back toward that precipice of doubt and judgment. Resolved, he could feel the tide of change rushing forward, matching the rhythm of his pulsating heart. Would they truly come together, or would fractured fears drive them apart once more? The moment lingered, a choice waiting to be made. Ryan held his breath, scanning the crowd for reactions, hoping to spark empathy amid the growing uncertainty. He wished he could pull Ashley into a cocoon of safety, away from the judgment that loomed like a dark cloud. But the reality was stark. They stood there together, exposed, vulnerable, on the cusp of something monumental. The skeptical voice continued to rise, rattling through the tension. You think this is a charity case? A lost cause? What if she runs away again? Ashley's shoulders slumped. Each doubt hurled her way felt like a stone, sinking deeper into the fragile hope she dared to nurture. Under Ryan's steady gaze, the anger in her faded, replaced by raw fear. Maybe I don't deserve your kindness, she whispered, almost to herself. No, that's not true, Ryan replied fiercely. No one should feel undeserving of compassion. It's what we should strive for. Ben nodded vigorously, his face earnest. Listen, Ashley, we all have our scars. The struggles we face don't define us, they shape us. And it's okay to need help. The audience shifted, slowly absorbing the words, their expressions softening. Echoes of doubt danced in the corners of the room but began to fade under the warmth of understanding. Ryan was careful to keep his focus on Ashley, wanting her to feel the strength of their support, to see that she was worth fighting for. A woman in the crowd chimed in, hesitantly, I once lost everything too, but I managed to climb back. Her voice shook slightly, but it resonated with a shared experience. If you can tell your story, maybe we can all learn something from it. Ashley looked up, surprise mingled with a flicker of hope. I thought no one would care, she murmured. All I've known for so long is how to hide. Then stop hiding, Ryan urged, stepping forward, his voice rising above the murmur of support beginning to form. Come out of the shadows, Ash. Let them see you, all of you. You've already taken the hardest step by being here. A ripple of agreement coursed through the crowd. They were beginning to rally around her not as a lost cause, but as a person deserving of a second chance. Nicole's expression shifted again, her defensive armor faltering. But what if she gets hurt again? Ryan took a breath, his resolve solidifying. Sometimes, healing means taking risks, Nicole. We can't shield them from pain forever. If we don't let them in, we miss out on breathtaking moments of connection. Suddenly, the crowd was alive with whispers, everyone contemplating their own fears and vulnerabilities. Some nodded, some were silent, but there was a shift, a palpable energy knitting them closer. Maybe you're right, Nicole replied softly, almost regretfully. But, how do we know she won't just disappear again? The only way to find out is to try, Ben chimed in. What better way to create hope than by working together to help her? We have the power to change lives, even if it starts with just one. Ashley's breaths came quick, overwhelmed by the unfolding acceptance. Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. With a new determination burning within her, she finally spoke, cracking the silence that had fallen over them once more. I want to try, really try. I promise I won't run this time. The murmurs shifted again, this time laced with encouragement. As they found the courage to reveal their own flaws and share their stories, the atmosphere grew lighter. It was a tapestry of human experience, woven together by moments of selflessness, and then a voice called out again, direct and firm, anchoring everyone's attention, so what happens next? How do we move forward from here? Ashley looked around, drawing strength from the faces surrounding her. This was her chance not just to reclaim her story but to redefine it. Let us create real connections, she said, gaining momentum. Let us work on understanding each other more deeply. I need your voices to be part of mine. In that moment, Ryan realized the journey wasn't just Ashley's anymore, it was shared among them all. This could either mark a turning point or a regression into judgment. As Ashley's gaze locked with his, he felt the weight of hope settle upon the crowd. Yet beneath that glimmering hope, a shadow still lingered. Would they find the strength to follow through on this promise, or would fear pull them back into their old ways? The tension thrummed in the air between possibilities. Change was knocking, but would they answer? A hush fell over the crowd as Ashley's words lingered, a shared breath held tight within hopeful hearts. Eyes shifted, nervous glances exchanging unspoken thoughts where to begin, how to start again. Ryan stepped forward again, feeling more resolute than ever. "We need to build a foundation, a plan," he said, his voice steady. "Something to keep this momentum going." The crowd nodded, faces reflecting determination. He could sense the shift, the possibility that each one of them could be part of something bigger than themselves. Ashley's courage was contagious, spreading through the group like a warm light. "Maybe we can set up meetings," Nicole suggested, her voice gaining confidence. "Share our stories, brainstorm ways to support each other." A ripple of agreement surged through the gathering. Ideas blossomed: coffee meetups, support groups, even a community project to strengthen their bonds. Each suggestion was a thread weaving them closer, pushing back against the darkness that had shackled them. As the group began to talk excitedly amongst themselves, Ashley felt the rush of emotion swelling inside her: hope, fear, anticipation. She had seen how quickly plans could crumble, yet something felt different this time. The connection stitched into the fabric of their assembly had the potential to hold strong. "I can help with the logistics," Ben chimed in, already flipping through his phone to draft messages and organize. "We can create a communal calendar, let everyone know about plans and shifts, ensure nobody feels alone." Ashley caught Ryan's eye, gratitude flooding her chest. Her heart fluttered with the realization that she wasn't in this alone. The world felt heavier at times, but their voices had turned into a shield of resilience. "Thank you, all of you," she murmured, a tremor in her voice. "I don't know if I can express how much this means to me." The crowd softened, collective smiles making the atmosphere lighter. Their pain, their stories, their failures, it all blended into one powerful emotional concoction, sparking the desire to rise together. Suddenly, an unexpected voice cut through the warmth of camaraderie. A man, slightly older, stood up. His face was worn, his clothes fraying at the edges, a stark contrast to the energy surrounding Ashley. "But what if it all fades? What happens then?" His challenge lingered like a weight. "Then we'll pick it up again," shouted a woman from the back, her voice fierce. "We rise and fall together. We are stronger than our doubts." Murmurs of agreement swept through the group. Ashley felt a rush of adrenaline course through her. She knew the path wouldn't be smooth. Doubts would undoubtedly circle back, shadows creeping in as they strove for connection and trust. Ryan could sense the uncertainty threading through the air, but he pushed it away. "We can't predict the future. But if we commit to this, if we promise to be there for each other, then every setback will be a chance to grow." Encouragement woven into every heartbeat filled the space. Ashley took a deep breath, bolstered by the sincerity of those around her. "I believe we can turn this into something meaningful. I know it won't be easy, but we can do it together." As the meeting flowed into a plan for the future, Ashley felt lighter, her heart unburdened, the spark of hope reignited. But in the recesses of her mind, a flicker of doubt remained. What if she faltered? What if the weight of her past crushed this new beginning? The question loomed like storm clouds on the horizon. Then, something unexpected happened. A voice from the back called out, pulling everyone's eyes. "What if someone doesn't want to be saved? What if they're not ready?" Ashley felt her heartbeat quicken. Could this challenge bring everything to a halt? Her gaze darted to Ryan, who met her eyes with silent reassurance. This moment could tear them apart or strengthen their resolve. Which path would they choose? The question hung in the air, heavy and charged. Ashley's heart raced. It wasn't just the doubt that echoed the man's words, it was the undeniable truth that lingered beneath them. Not everyone craved help, not everyone was ready to embrace change. She felt the tension settle over the crowd, a blanket of uncertainty threatening to suffocate the newfound momentum. Maybe that's okay, she couldn't help but say, her voice trembling slightly as she searched for words. People have their reasons. We can't force anyone to join us. But we can be a place of support for those who are willing. The man who had spoken nodded slowly, contemplating her response. Support? That's one thing, but when it comes to facing the reality of our struggles, it's brutal. Not everyone is ready to confront that. Ryan stepped in, his gaze steady, but that doesn't mean we stop trying. We create options. If someone isn't ready now, it doesn't mean they won't be tomorrow or next month. We plant seeds of hope. Ashley felt her determination ignite again. Each heartbeat reminded her how much hope was intertwined with vulnerability. She didn't want to abandon anyone, but she understood their struggles weren't hers to navigate alone. She envisioned coffee meetings, the laughter of shared stories, the power of community echoing through their lives. But what if the weight's too much? A young woman in the front spoke, her eyes bright but uncertain. What if I can't keep holding the smile? I'm so tired I don't know if I can keep going. Ashley's heart squeezed at the raw honesty, the truth that so many of them were grappling with. You're not alone in this, she whispered, her voice hushed yet firm. That's what this group is for. To lift each other's burdens when they become too heavy. Ben nodded, enthusiasm bubbling up again. We're a team. You don't have to be strong every single day. Some days we can lean on each other, and on other days we'll carry you if you need it. A flicker of warmth spread through the assembly. Hope felt alive, a timid flower pushing through the frost. There was understanding here, a collective heart yearning for something more. Suddenly, Ryan's phone buzzed loudly, cutting through the stillness. He glanced at the screen, and among the jubilant spirits, his expression abruptly shifted. Oh no! A mix of disbelief and alarm filled his face. What is it? Ashley asked, concerned that he held up the phone. It's about that community project we discussed. It looks like it's received the wrong kind of attention. Confusion rippled through the group, a cacophony of voices rising. What do you mean? Someone called out. Somebody shared it online, and it went viral. But not in the way we wanted. His voice trailed off as he scrolled through messages, his face paling with every word. Viral? Is that good? Nicole whispered, her excitement dimming. No, Ryan replied, his voice barely above a whisper. The comments, they're harsh. People questioning our pasts, our motives. Ashley felt her stomach twist. She feared this storm of negativity could entangle them before they'd even begun. What would they say to the naysayers? Would this crush the fragile bond they'd just started to weave together? The weight was quickly shifting again, and she realized, they needed to face this. But how? This is a test, she said, her heart pounding with urgency. We can let them tear us apart, or we can come together and show them what we really stand for. The crowd paused again, absorbing her words. She could see their eyes shining with a mix of hope and doubt, but still the determination was contagious. Ryan met her gaze, and his voice rose above the whispers. Let us respond with strength. Together. Each person shifted forward, eyes alight with a sense of purpose. Ashley felt the energy and challenge swell inside the group, and in that moment, she knew they could either crumble under pressure or rise above it. Which way would they choose? The air was thick with anticipation, a low hum of anxious chatter pulsing through the group. Ashley's heart was a wild drum in her chest. What they had envisioned, the community they had carefully started to build, now felt fragile, like delicate glass. Listen, everyone. She called, gathering the attention of those around her. We're stronger than what the comments say online. Let us turn this negativity into motivation. We have a purpose. Ben stepped forward, a spark igniting in his eyes. Yeah. We started this to help each other. Let us show them why we're here. His voice wavered slightly, but the passion in it was contagious. An elderly man in the back called out, "But how do we fight the story they're telling? What if it ruins everything?" Ashley drew in a shaky breath, fighting the wave of doubt crashing against her resolve. We fight by sharing our stories. Let them see us for who we are, not what they think we represent. We are more than our pasts. Nods of agreement bubbled up from the crowd. A woman with tear-streaked cheeks said, "What if we do it together? A gathering? A meeting where we can be honest. Share our truths." "Exactly," Ryan shouted, the weight of the situation reflected in his sharp expression. "We're individuals with lives that matter. This is our moment. Let us put ourselves out there." Determination began to gather steam as people voiced their support. "Let us call out the lies," someone exclaimed. "Let us share the love," another added. Ashley felt the warmth of hope building, pulsing through the group like a charge in the air before a storm. Their chatter swelled and swarmed until Ashley caught a glimpse of Nicole leaning against a nearby wall, her brows knitted together. The worry in her eyes was palpable. Ashley approached her, lowering her voice. "What's on your mind?" What if it doesn't work? What if all this?" Nicole gestured broadly, indicating the group, "doesn't change anything?" Ashley took a step back, considering her words. "What if it does change everything? We don't know what the outcome will be. But if we don't try, we fail for sure." Nicole sighed, biting her lip, weighing Ashley's words. Finally, she nodded. "You're right. Let us do it." The crowd was buzzing now, excitement taking shape. "A gathering!" someone shouted. "We can meet at the park, share our experiences, post it online, make it real." Others began enthusiastically discussing the logistics, planning details with fervor. Ashley stepped back, a smile flickering on her face. She could see their resilience blossoming. This was what she had hoped for. Standing together, they were transforming fear into action, but as they moved forward, focusing on their gathering, Ryan's phone buzzed again, the sound sharp and sudden against their laughter. He glanced at the screen, and the color drained from his face once more. "Oh no, this isn't good." Ashley's chest tightened. "What now?" "The accusations are worse than we thought. Someone posted shocking allegations, claiming we're not genuine. They're calling us fakes." Gasps flooded the group, and an unmistakable wave of dread seeped into the air. This fighting spirit, as strong as it felt, was being threatened again. Would they really stand together against this latest barrage? The questions hung heavy, stifling the laughter they almost achieved. Her voice trembled with urgency. "This is what we're up against. We need to unite, and quickly. If we let this kind of fear take hold, we may fail before we even start." The group fell silent, a mixture of fear and resilience painted on their faces. But Ashley felt something shift in the air. They had come together once before, this could be their chance to forge an unbreakable bond. Would they step forward into this looming battle, or let doubt crumble their newfound unity? The decision lay before them like an open door, waiting to be breached. As silence filled the room, Ashley knew, whatever they decided, this moment would define them. What they chose next could change everything. The tense silence hung like a heavy fog, each person glancing around, weighing the gravity of the moment. Ashley felt her heart beat louder, thumping in her ears as she stole a look around the room. Every face mirrored her anxiety, but also the fire that ignited when they raised their voices together. She took a deep breath. "Maybe it's time to come face to face with this," she said, her voice steadying. "Let us not let their words define us. Let us show who we really are. Ben nodded vigorously. We need to gather our stories. Our truth will drown out their lies. Together. This is our chance to stand firm. With newfound energy, they formed small huddles, eager to share their pasts, their struggles, and the unique journeys that led them to this point. The room buzzed with raw emotions: pain, joy, healing as stories spilled out. Nicole shared the difficulties she faced raising her children alone, the sleepless nights, the fear that gripped her every time bills piled up. Ashley listened intently, her heart swelling with empathy. She could see the weight lifting off Nicole's shoulders as she spoke, her confidence growing. When it was Ryan's turn, he released a deep breath, his words breaking the tension like sunlight piercing through clouds. I've had people turn their backs on me for who I was. But now? I want them to see who I am today, not just the mistakes I made. As Ryan spoke, Ashley watched the way the room absorbed every word. One by one, they all began to share their vulnerabilities, their stories knitting them closer together. Tears streamed freely, but amidst the sadness, there was laughter, too, a shared lightness that reclaimed their spirits. Ashley felt herself transforming into a pillar of strength. Look at this! She exclaimed, her throat tight with emotion. We are all doing this together. We're rewriting our narratives, and that's powerful. No one can take that away from us. Applause broke out, echoing from every corner of the room, filling the air with a sense of purpose. Yet, amidst the support, Ashley remembered the troubling post Ryan had read. Would this gathering be enough to combat the darker narratives? Just then, the room quieted as an unexpected figure stepped inside. It was a journalist, someone Ashley recognized from past articles, fingers tapping furiously on a smartphone. Startled whispers spread like wildfire. Had he come to exploit their vulnerability? Wait! Ashley proclaimed, moving toward the journalist with determination. We are here to share our truths. If you're looking for a story, hear us out before you write anything. The man raised an eyebrow, intrigued. I'm listening, he said cautiously. With renewed energy, Ashley felt the flames of hope flicker within the room again. Their stories mattered. Nicholas, Ben, and others chimed in, rallying to prove that they were alive, thriving, and worthy of respect. But as she spoke, dread clawed at her. A piece of her still wondered what the journalist would do with the truths they unraveled. Would he represent them fairly, or twist their words like others had? Silence settled once more, pregnant with possibility but rife with uncertainty. Ashley turned to her group, their faces bright with promise, her heart racing. No matter how this unfolds, we'll face it together. This gathering isn't just for today. It's the start of something bigger. The crowd erupted into spirited cheers, a wave of solidarity that surged through Ashley's veins. But as they embraced their newfound strength, would what they've built be strong enough to withstand the scrutiny coming their way? Would they come out stronger, or would the words of others push them apart? The questions loomed overhead, heavy yet filled with anticipation for what was to come. The moment was electric as Ashley stood at the front, the energy of the room swirling around her like a vibrant storm. The faces she had once thought would condemn her now glowed with solidarity. She could feel the warmth of their support radiate, pulling her away from the shadows of doubt. No matter how this unfolds, let us do this together. Let us show the world what we can accomplish as a community. The crowd erupted, cheers piercing through any lingering uncertainty. Hope surged and washed away fears like the tide smoothing over rocky shores. Let us take this moment and turn it into a movement. Ryan added, his voice booming across the room, stirring passion. Together. Echoed Nicole, arms raised in reassurance. Ashley glanced toward the journalist, who appeared rapt, tapping away, likely capturing each moment. A flicker of anxiety momentarily racked her, but she steeled herself against it. They had come too far to back down now. Among the whispers and the renewed energy, Ashley felt the spark of something monumental blooming within her, a belief that they could truly make a difference. Loose plans were formulated, supportive meetings began and a network of voices sprang forth, eager to be heard. They gathered each week, sharing stories filled with resilience and drive, transforming pain into potent lessons. Each person stepped forward, unearthing pieces of their souls, as laughter and tears mingled together. The journalist, who had initially seemed a mere opportunist, began to capture their intertwined narratives honestly, portraying not only their struggles but the raw beauty of their growth. Days turned into weeks, and as community support blossomed, the negativity that had so repeatedly threatened them seemed to dissipate like morning mist. On the day of their first public event, Ashley stood on a stage with Ryan and Nicole at her side. The crowd surged in front of them, diverse and curious, ready to hear what they had to say. Ryan picked up the microphone, a flicker of confidence lighting in his eyes. "We're not just here to talk about homelessness or struggle. We're here to ignite change, to stand together for all those who feel unseen." A round of applause erupted, the sound thundering against the walls, a fierce declaration that they mattered. Ashley's heart raced as she stepped forward. "We are more than our circumstances. Each of us carries a tapestry woven of heartache and resilience. We must come together to create solutions, to connect, to heal." Every eye was locked onto her, the air sizzling with anticipation. "We can't erase our pasts, but we can use our voices to uplift others. This is just the beginning." They moved as one, their energy electric, their newfound purpose a living testament to strength and hope. As the event unfolded, stories poured forth, people shared their connections, their lives, their pasts, and found new meaning. They addressed the fear that had once kept them apart. Each laughter-filled moment tore down walls, creating bridges that reached out to those beyond their tight-knit circle. Then it happened. A wave of recognition rippled through the audience. Friends, family, innocent souls seeking to reconcile their ignorance began to step forward, drawn into the movement, a powerful reminder that connection begets compassion. They listened, absorbed, and ultimately began to dream of what could be. In the weeks that followed, the transformation that began with a homeless young woman named Ashley spread like wildfire. It reached not only the privileged elite they had strived to shift but also touched many lives throughout the community, igniting sparks of empathy everywhere. Local businesses began to get involved, creating job opportunities, shelters started fostering mentorship programs, building something greater. Ashley often stood beside Ryan as they watched their dream grow. She gazed out, tears brimming with gratitude. This was what it meant to be truly alive and to not only exist but thrive. Each day brought challenges, but with their voices united, they faced them together, fearless and unwavering in their commitment to lift one another upwards. "Thank you for believing in me," Ashley would often tell Ryan, who always responded with an equally heartfelt, "Thank you for giving me a chance to stand for something." And as their community thrived, they knew they'd created something deeply beautiful, an emerging family built on compassion, resilience, and hope, a legacy forged in fire. It was the culmination of every risk taken, every story shared, and every heart willing to say yes to another chance. "I wish my mother could see this," Ashley whispered one evening. Ryan squeezed her hand. "She does. And she's proud." The light danced in both their eyes, an unspoken promise stretching far into the future. This was only the beginning of their story, their journey of kindness just opening the door to endless possibilities, but for now, they stood side by side, hearts wide open, ready to tackle whatever came next with the strength of a true community. Hope doesn't just ignite, it explodes, filling the world with light as long as there are hands willing to join together to create change. The crowd roared, applause ringing like music. In that moment, everything felt possible. Your turn now. If Ashley and Ryan's journey touched your heart, subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to stand on the side of hope and change. Don't wait not even one more second to share.